Well, Bev, there are still a lot of fans here tonight. As you can see, it's technically a sellout. It sold out very quickly. The big issue is, when this game was first announced last month, world champions Argentina coming, and who's the biggest star in the Argentina side? Lionel Messi, by a huge margin. So a bit of Messi mania broke out here in Indonesia. And then last week, even though Messi was in Beijing playing the Socceroos, the news kind of filtered out that it looked like he wasn't going to come to Indonesia, and the Indonesian Football Association, along with the promoters, were very coy about this. The Indonesian Football Association was vague. They didn't want to give a clear answer, and so quite a lot of fans, obviously there are plenty who are still here, but quite a lot of fans who paid top dollar to see this match are feeling a bit duped, given that Messi's face is all over the promotional materials, as you'd expect.
Indeed. There have been other challenges for football, for the game in Indonesia in recent months, haven't there, Bill?
Yeah, it's been a pretty awful 12 months for football, starting with this stadium stampede at a club match in October last year. More than 130 people were killed in that. The police response was heavily criticised, and it just was the latest incident for club football over here that's been plagued by many problems for many years. But more recently, the Indonesian government had bid for the FIFA Under-20s Men's World Cup. Now, this is a really big deal. You know, it's not like Indonesia's ever hosted a World Cup or anything like that. So to have the Under-20s World Cup at various venues and cities across Indonesia, a really big deal. But then the Israeli team qualified for the World Cup, and because Indonesia has this Palestinian solidarity long-held stance, you had politicians, governors, both in Bali and in Central Java, who, seemingly trying to court the Islamic vote with an eye to the election next year, declared that they wouldn't allow the Israeli team to play in Indonesia. And so FIFA had no choice but to strip this country of the Under-20s World Cup, which they had bid for and were looking forward to hosting for such a long time. So there really have been some major setbacks for the game this year, although more recently, Bev, the Indonesian team did win the Southeast Asian Games, which was the first time in several decades. Yeah. So anyway, tonight's game, Messi or not, is seen as, you know, a bit of a boost at least for the game after a tough year.
Well, you know, talking about that victory, Bill, how competitive is Indonesia likely to be tonight?
Well, the Indonesian national team is ranked 149th in the world. Argentina are the world champions. So you wouldn't expect it to be particularly close, but it's a friendly match. So it's not as though, you know, the Argentinians have much to play for, I suppose. They're really here just to kind of put on a bit of a show. But the other thing is, it's not just Lionel Messi who won't be taking the field tonight. A couple of other prominent veterans, Angel Di Maria and Nicolas Otamendi, are not here either. So it kind of is a bit of a second string national side that Argentina is fielding. That said, though, there are still some very high quality players, including this 19-year-old Manchester United sensation, Alejandro Garnacho. He was in the side that beat Australia in Beijing last week. He's expected to start for Argentina for the first time this evening.
Yeah. Well, it'll be a good one to watch, and no doubt that the stadium will be filled despite the disappointment that Messi's not there. Good to see you, Bill.
Thanks, Bev.